The first time Emma noticed a German shepherd, it was just after sunrise. Mist clung to the edges of the old Harper barn, curling like ghostly fingers around the sagging roof. The dog's nails scraped relentlessly against the weathered wood, a sound sharp enough to cut through the morning quiet. Emma's heart thumped as she stepped closer, drawn by something in the dog's desperate insistence. A pull she couldn't name. Behind those deep brown eyes, there was an urgency, a pleading she felt in her bones. Whatever the dog was guarding, it wasn't just a secret. It was someone's life. If you're following along, consider subscribing. There's more truth hidden in the shadows than you might expect. Emma Harper had lived her entire life in the rolling fields and wooded hollows of Ashford County. The Harper farm, a patchwork of tilled soil, faded red barns, and weathered fences, had been in her family for generations. But something had changed this morning. Something felt off. She noticed at first on the edge of the pasture, a lone figure, low to the ground, moving with intensity that stopped her heart for a beat. The German shepherd wasn't just standing. It was scratching at the side of the old barn, teeth occasionally gnashing as if testing the wood for resistance. Its coat was matted, flecked with dirt and dried leaves, but its eyes, those eyes were a beacon, pleading and panicked, and Emma couldn't look away. "Hey! Hey, girl," she called softly, her voice almost swallowed by the morning fog. The dog paused, ears twitching, but didn't stop its relentless scratching. Emma swallowed hard, feeling the pull of something dangerous or heartbreaking, lurking behind that barn wall. She had always loved animals, and the thought of leaving the dog there, clawing at the rotting wood like it could claw out its own soul, was unbearable. But approaching was risky. The German shepherd was large, its muscles tense, and in a rural town like Ashford, people didn't trust a panicked animal. Emma crept forward, her boots sinking slightly into the damp grass, the fog curling around her ankles like a living thing. The smell hit her before she saw it, an acrid, metallic scent that made her stomach tighten. Blood? Possibly. She hadn't seen it, but instinct screamed that this was not a game. The dog froze and whined, a sound that made her chest ache. There was urgency in the noise, a message Emma couldn't ignore. Something was wrong inside the barn. Her father had warned her about wandering too close to the old Harper barn. "It's falling apart," he said. "Would rot, nails sticking out. You'll hurt yourself." But warnings meant little in the face of the raw, desperate energy pressing from the other side of the wall. Emma took a deep breath, feeling her pulse hammering in her ears. She inched closer, noting every detail. The barn siding was splintered, warped from years of neglect. One corner sagged low, as if bowing to the weight of secrets inside. The faint smell of decay mixed with that metallic tang, and a chill crawled down her spine. "Okay, easy," she whispered. She reached the corner where the dog was pawing at the wall. Its claws had scored deep furrows in the wood, and Emma could see a faint reddish streak on the ground. Her heart clenched. The German shepherd barked once, short, sharp, and urgent, then darted a few feet back, tail stiff, as if urging her to move faster. Emma hesitated, torn between fear and an unshakable pull. Whatever was inside that barn, it wasn't just an animal. Something, or someone, was trapped. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from her friend Jake, asking if she wanted to grab coffee later, felt trivial now. Emma ignored it, squinting at the barn. The fog thickened, obscuring the far edge, turning familiar structures into ghostly silhouettes. She shivered, realizing that if the fog weren't enough to make her uneasy, the dog's behavior certainly was. It wasn't just alert, it was frantic, protective, pleading. "All right," she murmured, finally moving to the barn door. It hung crookedly on rusted hinges, the wood groaning as she pushed it open. Dust motes floated in the air, disturbed by her movement, and the smell hit her full force. Wet earth, rot, and something far more acidic, sharp, and bitter. The dog bolted inside, sniffing and circling, barking occasionally, then returning to the center as if to guide her. Emma's flashlight caught a pair of small, frantic eyes peering from beneath a pile of old tarps and rotting crates. Her stomach lurched. A child? "Who's there?" she called, voice trembling, trying to keep it steady. Silence answered, broken only by the dog's low growl and the creak of the barn. Emma stepped closer, heart hammering, and saw it. Barely a figure, hunched, covered in dirt and scraps of cloth. The faint outline of a boy, not more than 10 or 11, eyes wide and terrified. The dog nudged Emma's leg, whining. It pressed his body against hers like it was offering protection and demanding she act. Emma knelt slowly, keeping her hands visible. "It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you," she said softly. "We're going to get you out." The boy flinched but didn't run. His eyes darted around, catching hers briefly before dropping to floor. He smelled of neglect, sweat, and something more, something that Emma couldn't quite identify. Fear mixed with shock. The German shepherd barked again, louder this time, and Emma noticed something tied around the boy's wrist. A length of fraying rope, knotted and worn. Her stomach churned. He hadn't gotten there on his own. Someone had put him here. "Hey, it's okay," she whispered again. Her mind raced. Who would do this? And why? The barn had been empty for years, at least empty in the sense that no one should have been living inside. Emma's father had kept it for storage, tools, old machinery. No one came here. Suddenly, a sound, a low, dragging shuffle, echoed from the shadows behind crates. The boy tensed, curling into himself. The dog growled, hackles raised, ears flattened. Emma's heart thumped, every instinct screaming danger. "Who's there?" she called again, louder this time. No answer. Just a scraping noise, slow and deliberate, coming from deeper in the barn. Emma grabbed the boy's hand gently, tugging him toward the open door. The dog pressed against them, growling but letting them move. As they reached the sunlight spilling across the barn floor, the boy stumbled and fell into Emma's arms. His small body shook, tears streaking the dirt on his cheeks. I can't," he whispered, voice cracking. "They said, they who..." Emma urged, her mind racing. The dog barked, as if urging her to move, to act. Before the boy could answer, the barn door creaked behind them. Emma froze. The shadows shifted, and a figure emerged, a man in a worn jacket, face partly hidden beneath a baseball cap. His eyes were cold, calculating, and when he saw Emma and the boy, they narrowed. "That's far enough," he said, voice low, rough. "This isn't your business." Emma's pulse surged. "This boy is in danger," she snapped. "What the hell have you done?" The man's lips pressed into a thin line. "Careful," he warned. "You don't know what you're stepping into." The German shepherd barked viciously, stepping in front of Emma and the boy. Emma felt a mix of fear and awe. The dog wasn't just protective. It was ready to fight. The man's eyes flicked to the dog. He sighed, shoulders stiffening. "Fine. Take him," he muttered, almost grudgingly. Then he turned and disappeared back into the shadows of the barn, leaving the door swinging in the morning breeze. Emma sank to the ground, clutching the boy. His tears soaked through her shirt as he whispered over and over, "Thank you, thank you." The dog pressed against him, finally relaxing a fraction. Emma's hands shook as she held both the boy and the dog close, the weight of the morning pressing down on her. There were questions, too many to answer, but one thing was clear. Someone had betrayed this boy, and the secrets of the Harper barn were far from over. The morning fog had lifted by the time Emma carried the boy, whose name she now knew was Liam, toward her farmhouse. The German shepherd, now panting but vigilant, walked beside her, its eyes constantly scanning the tree line. Each step felt surreal. The air smelled of wet earth and hay, but beneath it lingered a metallic undertone that refused to leave her nostrils. Emma's mind raced, trying to connect the dots. Who had left Liam tied in the barn, and why had the man retreated so easily when confronted? Back at the farmhouse, Emma set Liam on the old leather couch, the German shepherd sitting guard beside him. She offered him a towel and a glass of water. Liam's hands trembled as he took them, his eyes darting around, wary of shadows in the corners of the room. Do you want to call someone?" Emma asked softly. Liam shook his head. No cops. They'll..." His voice faltered, and he pressed his hands to his face. Emma felt a pang of frustration and sorrow. He wasn't just scared. He was broken, conditioned to expect betrayal at every turn. The dog nudged Liam gently, whining, and Liam finally looked down at it. For a moment, a fragile trust sparked between them. The dog's loyalty was obvious, its protective instincts unwavering. Emma's chest tightened. Whoever had harmed this boy had underestimated one thing: the bond between a child and a loyal animal. Just then, the door creaked open. Emma's heart leapt, only to settle into cautious dread when she saw her brother, Matt, standing there. His expression was a mix of disbelief and irritation. "You brought him here?" Matt asked, eyes scanning Liam and then the dog. "Emma, what are you thinking? This could get dangerous." Emma stood, brushing off her jeans. "He's a child, Matt. Someone left him in that barn tied up. Someone's trying to hurt him." Matt ran a hand through his hair. "You don't know that. Maybe he wandered in somehow. Maybe it's nothing." Emma's jaw tightened. "Nothing? Do you see him? Do you see the rope? Do you see the fear in his eyes?" "Nothing, Matt, is not an option." Matt sighed heavily, rubbing the bridge of his nose. All right. Just be careful. If something happens, it's on you, not me." Emma watched him leave, frustrated and tense. Matt had always been cautious to the point of paralysis, unwilling to see the human truths hidden behind appearances. His moral ambiguity, this refusal to act until forced, had often clashed with Emma's sense of duty. She loved him, but she couldn't rely on him now. Turning back to Liam, she crouched beside him. "I'm going to help you, okay? I promise. But I need to know what happened. Can you tell me?" He shook his head violently. "No, They who?" Emma pressed. Liam's gaze flicked to the floor. The shadows of the room seemed to lengthen, and his voice dropped to a whisper. "The ones who run things in Ashford. The ones no one talks about." Emma's stomach tightened. Ashford had always been a sleepy town, the kind where everyone knew everyone else, or at least they pretended to. But Liam's words hinted at a darkness beneath the polite smiles and manicured lawns, something hidden, powerful, and terrifying. Over the next hour, Emma tried to coax more information from him, but Liam's answers were fragmented and hesitant. He mentioned a storage place, voices at night, and a man with a cap, likely the one in the barn. Each clue left more questions than answers, but one thing became clear. The danger was not random. Someone in the town had deliberately targeted him. That evening, the German shepherd lay at Liam's feet, occasionally lifting its head to watch the windows and the tree line beyond. Emma sat at the kitchen table, jotting down her thoughts. She knew she had to investigate, but every instinct told her to be cautious. Whoever had trapped Liam wasn't just dangerous. They were organized. Her thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. Emma froze. Visitors were rare in Ashford, especially at this hour. The dog growled low in its throat. Emma exchanged a glance with Liam. He shrank back slightly, as if expecting the danger to be at the doorstep. Cautiously, she opened the door. Standing there was a woman, mid-30s, dressed neatly but with an air of calculated detachment. Her smile was polite but cold, and her eyes flicked immediately to Liam. "Evening," the woman said. "I'm Marla Benson. I work with Child Services." Emma's brow furrowed. "Child Services? At this hour?" Marla's smile tightened. "Emergency situation. I heard there was a boy found in a barn. Is that correct?" Emma's grip on the doorframe tightened. "Yes, but how did you hear about this?" Marla tilted her head slightly, still smiling, but her eyes sharp and assessing. "I have my ways." Something about her unsettled Emma. There was a practiced charm, a precision in her movements that hinted at control, perhaps even manipulation. Emma didn't trust her instincts completely, but the stakes were high. Liam needed protection, and she couldn't do it alone. "Please," Emma said finally, "he's here, safe. But you have to understand, he can't go anywhere with anyone until we know he's truly safe." Marla nodded, still smiling. "Of course. That's why I'm here. We can work together." The German shepherd growled again, low and threatening. Marla's eyes flicked to it, and for a fleeting moment her smile faltered. She seemed almost calculating, as if reassessing her next move. Emma felt a chill. There was something Marla wasn't telling her, something hidden beneath that calm exterior. The next day, Emma decided she couldn't wait for official help. She had to know what was in the barn, what had caused Liam's trauma, and who was behind it. with the German shepherd at her side. She returned to the barn, Liam reluctantly following in case answers lay hidden where fear still lingered. The barn was quieter than yesterday, eerily so. The fog had lifted completely, leaving the sun to illuminate the splintered wood and broken windows. Emma's heart pounded as she approached, scanning for any sign of the man with the cap. Inside, the smell of rot was stronger. She noticed subtle signs that someone or several people had been living here recently. Scraps of food, worn blankets, and faint footprints in the dust. It wasn't random. It was intentional. Someone had been keeping watch, controlling who came and went. Then Emma saw it, a stack of old crates against the far wall. She crouched, brushing off the dust, and found a small notebook. Its pages were filled with notes, some in neat handwriting, some scrawled frantically. Names, locations, times. Emma's pulse raced as she realized this was more than a simple case of a lost child. The German shepherd barked sharply, and Emma looked up. Across the barn, in the shadows, she saw movement. The man with the cap stepped out slowly, hands raised in mock surrender, but his eyes were cold, calculating. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "This is bigger than you realize." Emma's heart pounded. She looked at Liam, then at the dog. She had to make a choice. Retreat and protect what she had, or confront the darkness in the barn and uncover a truth that could change everything in Ashford forever. The tension hung thick in the air, a fragile line between danger and salvation. And somewhere deep down, Emma knew the path forward would demand everything. Trust, courage, and perhaps a willingness to face the morally gray choices that others had already made. The sun was low in the sky, casting long shadows across Ashford County, when Emma returned to the barn with Liam and the German shepherd. She felt a weight in her chest, a mixture of dread and determination. The notebook she had found the day before still burned in her mind. Names, addresses, times, all meticulously recorded. Whoever had kept Liam here had carefully orchestrated every detail, every risk. And now, they knew she had seen their plan. Marla Benson had insisted on coming along, her calm demeanor masking a tension Emma could feel in her bones. Her presence was a double-edged sword. Help, yes, but also a constant reminder that someone in town had eyes everywhere. Emma didn't fully trust her, but in that moment, trust had to be provisional. They needed each other if they were going to uncover the truth. Inside the barn, the air was thick with dust and decay. The German shepherd padded silently ahead, ears twitching at every creak and whisper of wind through the rotting wood. Liam clung to Emma, his small frame tense, but he was beginning to relax slightly, as if sensing that Emma and the dog could shield him from the danger lurking in the shadows. The far corner of the barn still held remnants of the man's presence. Crates, blankets, scraps of food. But now, something new caught Emma's eye. A trapdoor, cleverly concealed beneath a rotting rug. Her pulse quickened. Whoever had kept Liam here had more than just a casual hiding spot. She exchanged a glance with Marla. "That looks like a way down," Emma whispered. Marla nodded, her eyes sharp. "We should be careful. Whoever set this up, they didn't want anyone snooping." Emma knelt, pulling back the rug and lifting the trapdoor. A narrow staircase descended into darkness. The metallic tang of blood and rust hit her immediately. She swallowed hard, feeling a pit of dread form in her stomach. This was no ordinary hiding place. It was a prison. The German shepherd growled low in its throat, placing itself protectively in front of Liam. Emma reached out, taking his small hand in hers. "Stay close," she said softly, descending the stairs with Marla and Liam following behind. At the bottom, the room was small, damp, and dimly lit by a single, flickering bulb. The walls were lined with shelves holding jars of old preserves. But what really made Emma's stomach churn was the evidence of more than neglect. Chains hung from the ceiling in places, and in one corner, remnants of a cot suggested someone had slept here, hidden from the world above. Then Emma saw the figure huddled in the far corner, a teenager, gaunt, pale, eyes wide with terror. The boy, maybe 14 or 15, looked up at them with a mixture of hope and disbelief. Emma stepped forward slowly. "Hey, it's okay. We're here to help." The boy's lips trembled. You came for me?" "Yes," Emma said. "You're safe now." The German shepherd barked once, low and protective. The boy flinched but didn't back away. Emma noticed something tied around his wrist, an old rope, frayed and worn. She knelt, carefully removing it. Marla stepped closer, scanning the room with a professional eye. "They kept him here for weeks," she murmured. "This is organized, intentional. Someone in town is involved." Emma's heart sank. She had suspected as much, but seeing it, smelling it, made the betrayal tangible. Ashford County was small, sleepy, and yet beneath its polite surface lurked cruelty so deliberate it was chilling. Suddenly, the stairs creaked behind them. The man in the cap appeared, eyes glinting with anger and calculation. "You shouldn't have come here," he said, voice low and dangerous. Emma stepped forward, placing herself between the man and the children. "You're done. This ends now." The man's lips twisted in a bitter laugh. "You think this ends with me? You have no idea how deep it goes. You've just scratched the surface, Harper." Emma's pulse thundered. "Then I'll dig deeper. You won't hurt them anymore." Marla's voice cut through the tension. "We need to call this in. Proper authorities, now. They can't fight back against the truth once it's exposed." The man's gaze flicked to Marla. For a brief moment, something flickered, hesitation, fear, maybe recognition, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. "Go ahead. Call them. Ashford has a way of protecting its own." Emma felt a chill. Marla's earlier calm, calculated demeanor suddenly made sense. She wasn't here to help blindly. She had known the risk. She had known the town's secrets. And yet she had stayed. A morally gray ally, or perhaps someone whose motives were more complicated than Emma realized. She helped Liam and the younger boy to their feet. The German shepherd nudged them, guiding them gently toward the stairs. Emma followed, keeping her gaze on the man. He made no move to stop them. Outside, the sun had dipped low, casting a golden hue across the fields. The boys breathed in the fresh air, shivering but relieved. Emma knelt beside them, brushing dirt from their hair. "You're safe now," she said, the weight of the words settling like a stone in her chest. Marla pulled Emma aside quietly. "There are people in Ashford you can't trust, but there are also those who will do the right thing quietly, without recognition. Remember that." Emma nodded, understanding the nuance of her words. Trust was fragile here, layered with betrayal and fear. But for these children, she would stand firm. She would protect them, no matter the cost. Later that night, as Emma tucked Liam into her old bed, the German shepherd curled his feet, she reflected on everything that had happened. The barn, the man, the hidden room. It had all been a test of courage and morality. She had seen fear, but also resilience. She had faced someone willing to manipulate, to threaten, to hide the truth, and she had chosen to act. She looked at the boys sleeping, finally at peace, and felt a quiet satisfaction, a fragile victory. Ashford County still had shadows, still had secrets, but tonight she had brought light, and sometimes that was enough. The German shepherd's soft breathing was a comfort. Emma ran her hand along its head. "We did it," she whispered. "We really did it." In the days that followed, authorities uncovered the extent of the operation that had ensnared the boys. Ashford County was shaken, and some trusted figures were revealed to be complicit. Marla remained close, a reminder that not all allies were simple, and that morality often existed in shades of gray. Emma watched Liam and the younger boys slowly regain their trust in the world, their laughter tentative but genuine. And in the quiet moments, she realized that courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was acting despite it. The German shepherd, once frantic and desperate, now lay peacefully beside them, a living symbol of loyalty, bravery, and the unspoken bonds that can protect even the most vulnerable. As Emma looked out across the fields of Ashford County, the sunset painting the horizon in soft golds and reds, she understood the truth that had guided her all along. Even in the darkest places, hope could be found, sometimes in the most unexpected forms.